What's up guys, Tanish here from DB Talks. Now, travel restrictions to Ireland, travel from India to Ireland during COVID-19 times, process, documents, all around that. In this video, we are going to cover all of these. And as a matter of fact, if you stay with me till the very end of the video, I'll give you a bonus tip. So let's get started, shall we? So once again, couple of housekeeping rules. Whatever we will be discussing in this video, you will get the links to all of these resources in the description box below. And secondly, if you have any questions or if there are any doubts, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to write the comments below. Feel free to directly connect with me and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So the first thing is passenger locator form. You actually have to fill the passenger locator form, which basically means that you are telling the government that this is the place where you will be staying for the duration of your journey, or if you are a permanent citizen in Ireland, or if you are living in Ireland, then you just give your permanent address. In the passenger locator form, you have to give your basic details like your name, your second name, your email address, your phone number, your residence address, all these things. And then once you fill that form, you'll get a confirmation saying that your form is duly filled, and this confirmation can be shown to the Irish immigration officials, and then that's perfect. Now the second thing is restrictions around quarantine. So no matter where you are coming from, either it's India or London or Amsterdam or different places, Brazil, South Africa, anywhere, you have to do a mandatory 14-day quarantine in the state. Now the second thing to that is that you have to get a second COVID test done in Ireland if you are traveling from London or South Africa or Brazil. So the first will obviously be from India if you're traveling, and then the second one will be from London or South Africa or Brazil. Once you arrive in Ireland, spend 5 days, but immediately after 5 days you have to get a second COVID report if you're traveling from London, South Africa or Brazil. That's a mandatory thing, and there's no sidelines to that, so you have to do it. So my recommendation is that whenever you arrive in Ireland from these places, call the GP or out of hours GP and book yourself in and get the appointment for the 6th day or 7th day, or basically as soon as possible post 5-day arrival of yourself in Ireland. So a 5-day period has to be served in Ireland, and then you have to do a second COVID negative test basically. Once you have the negative result out, then basically your quarantine period ends. And once again, I'll emphasize on this fact that the COVID test has to be taken 72 hours before you arrive in Ireland. Not before you depart your flight from India, but before you arrive in Ireland. So that's a window, and the window should be 72 hours or less. So keep a track of that. Now the final thing to this is that if you're traveling from certain airlines like KLM or different airlines as well, there is a additional test that you need to undergo, which is called as Antigen Test. The arrangements of all of these types of tests will be done at Indian airport. For example, if you're planning to travel from Delhi, let's say, and then you're traveling in the KLM flight. So at Delhi airport itself, there will be one of the terminals at Delhi airport where you have to undergo a mandatory antigen test on top of your COVID test. So COVID test, you have to do it well before you arrive at airport. And then the antigen test will be done at the airport itself. So both of the tests are required. And then once you fly back to Ireland, then both of those documents will be needed. So now is the time for that bonus tip that I was talking to you about at the start of the video, which is about what will happen if you spend more than 3 months or 6 months or 7 months or even a year outside Ireland. What will be the impact on you? So the short and sweet answer to this is nothing. But let me complete that. Nothing in the short term. But if you're planning to get yourself naturalized here in Ireland, or you're planning to get a long-term residency, then I wouldn't, to be honest, advise you to do that, because there might be a couple of questions around the reckonable years and the time that you have spent in the country. There is no exception during the COVID times. Well, there might be a little bit of leniency that although it's allowed for 6 weeks that you can stay outside Ireland, and then you are staying for 7 weeks or 8 weeks, that's that would be fine in my opinion. But then a year or 6 months or 7 months, that would be way too long. That might impact a little bit on your citizenship to some extent. But then if you have a perfect explanation or a professional reason or a medical reason, which is actually making you stay for longer than 3 months, then I think it should be fine. And then additionally, I would recommend that you email the GNIB officers or INIS officers stating the medical emergency or whatever type of emergency that you're having, which is actually making you stay for longer than 3 months. It's only applicable if you are planning for a long-term residency or getting yourself the citizenship here in Ireland. If you're not planning to do that, that's fine, no problem at all. And with that, I hope I was able to help you a little bit with the travel restrictions here in Ireland and the process of how can you travel from India back to Ireland. What are the things that you need to consider here? And as always, if there's anything that I can help you more with, feel free to reach me out or give me a call or a text message or write the comments in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Until then, all the very best, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.